finished up the reforming of the top, the finger rib section. And if you see this, basically what we want to do is we want to end up, we need 2 more courses. We want to end up this, the one right above the rib is going to end up with the carriage over here. And then when we do that last course, we're going to do that by hand with a little bit of a longer loop length, a little more tension, so that when we cast off, we don't want this to be too tight, because the crochet, basically the chain stitch, is not going to have the same amount of stretch that the regular knit has. So we want that chain stitch to have a slightly longer loop, and you could do that if you wanted to by changing the cams on the carriage, but we don't want, this doesn't have like an easy adjustment like some of those other things where you just turn a knob. So we're going to do 1 pass, 1 course, just to get back to front stitch, and then we're going to do the second course by hand. All right. Now to do the second course by hand, we don't need the carriage anymore. And we're going to put these, we're going to pull these out and put them in the knitting position. Here, hold on a second. Okay, so we want these out because we're going to do this by hand. We want these out. And then we want to put them back into the knitting position. So the latches should be like right up against the loop, but not through it yet. If you push it too far, it's going to close. So we want the latches open. And like I said, some people you have a tool that they just push them all in simultaneously, but okay. And then we're going to do this last course by hand, and we want to do this so that we have a stitch length that we know is enough to carry it over, so about 3/8 of an inch, to carry it over to the next wale without creating too much, without being too tight, right? If we didn't do this, then the very top is going to be inextensible, and then you wouldn't be able to get your hand. It's going to be too tight around your hand. So we want this, what they call, we want more tension, which actually is more loop length on this last course when we cast off. All right, so we're doing that about 3/8 of an inch. All right, and we're going to do this all the way to the end here. All right. Now that we're all the way at the end, we want to make sure this is pulled down tight. You can see that the loop length is slightly longer than the course below it. We're going to bring the needles out. Use your finger to hold the stitches in place, but bring the needles out to the hold position. All right, and now we're going to cast off with the crochet the same way we cast off on the thumbs, except in this case we're going to go all the way across. So we grab this first loop, take it off the needle, and then carefully holding onto it, get it so that the hook, the latch is all the way through, and then grab the next one, pull it in through that first loop, and then take it off the next needle. And you just do that sequentially, just making sure that every time you go through this loop, that my hook is going through the first loop, but not the second, and then I'm grabbing the second one with my needle hook. And you pull that off. All right. So you're just going to keep doing this all the way across until we get to the end, and then I'll show you what we do for the last one. All right, so keep doing this all the way across. All right, one additional note here, as you start to work your way through, you'll notice that there's fewer and fewer loops on the needle, and so you may have to take off claw weights as you're working your way through. Not all of them, but take them off as you're working your way through, otherwise it's going to be pulling too much as you're trying to do this crochet. All right, so just take off the equivalent of the amount of weight as you're coming across. Okay, we're getting very close to the end here. 2 more. Grab that last one, like so. So now the whole thing's off. Okay, don't let that go. And you're going to want to tighten this up a little bit. And don't let it go, but now grab the working end of the yarn and you're going to pull that through, like so. All right, don't make it too tight. But now what we're going to do is we're going to leave this long. We're going to cut it somewhere here. We want this to be long because we're going to use this tail to then do our mattress stitch. Okay, so we're going to cut this fairly long. The more you have, the easier it is to work with. And then pull that loop all the way through. Now that makes a knot. Okay, so now that's secure. And we want to make sure we don't lose these tails. We have to work these tails back in, so we don't want these coming out. All right, so here you go. You can take off these hooks, and then the next step is to do the mattress stitch. This is what it looks like from the front. You can see our cabling here. It's like a snake cable, and the purl offsets make that stand out really nicely. All right. Next step is going to be the mattress stitch. We're going to seam these up at the thumb, like so. A seam here, a seam here. All right, looks pretty good.